really what it's doing for the program. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We knew we were going to have some bumps and bruises coming along the way, but, it's good to get that first one on our belt.
Do you feel like from game one to last weekend was kind of trending in the right direction, despite the fact that you guys started out 0-3?
Definitely. And like I said last week, when we started off 0-3 and the way those guys practiced last week, I thought that was our best week of practice all season. And Thursday, I thought that was our best day of practice throughout the week. And, as long as, like I say, as long as our attitudes are, where it needs to be and the guys put forth great effort, I told you we'd have a chance, we'd be fine. But, I think we're definitely headed in the right direction.
Now that they've got that taste of a win, what are you expecting coming up in practice this week? I mean, they got rewarded for the hard work, so
right.
Things should be on an uptick now.
But we've been working hard all year. I think we just haven't been paying attention to detail and some of the smaller things, some of the finer things. But, again, our goal is to get better week in and week out. So we just want to get a little bit better this week. And, hopefully it'll pay off for us on Saturday.
How important is it timing-wise to get your first win as you guys head into conference play?
That's big. And, it has a lot to do with confidence coming into the conference play. And, we talk about now is 0-0. It's a new season coming up. And, what happened those first 4 games doesn't really count. So, we have to get focused on Morgan State and going into conference play.
As a former defender, former DC, how much did you celebrate? Not really celebrate. How happy were you when it came out that you guys are currently leading the nation in turnovers?
Extremely excited. We're +6 in turnover margin, and then we talk about it in practice about catching the bad ones. If you catch the bad ones, you'll be all conference. And, it just says how much our defensive staff has done, developing these young men. You look in the secondary, none of these guys really played last year. I think we might have 1 start out of the whole group. So it's none of these guys really played many snaps last year, but to see where they are now and the improvement they've made, I think that says, speaks volumes for our, Coach Archer Lindsey and our defensive staff.
What's the many turnovers? How much of it is preparation, like, drills and stripping the ball, and how much of it is film work and being in the right place at the right time? How much of it is just, again, luck, just end up in the right place when the ball comes out?
Well, it all, works hand in hand. They work ball drills every day in the back end. And, it's about guys being in the right position. If you're in the right position and you're reading your keys and, then here it comes. Now it's all about, can I focus on, catching the football. But like I say, those guys have done an outstanding job of game planning and putting our young men in position. And then our young men have done an outstanding job of making the plays that come to them.
What's the reward at practice or at the games for turnovers for guys to kind of get them the incentive to kind of be ball hawks?
Well, I bought the coaches lunch Sunday. We bought the coaches the staff dinner. So I'm going to let them take care of whatever little goodies they give to the young men. So that's on them to reward them. I reward the coaches.
What's the next step? Leading the nation in turnovers. What's the next step as far as taking that to another level?
Points off of turnovers. Points off of turnovers. We have to turn those turnovers into points. And we had 14 points off of turnovers this past week. And, I thought our offense took steps in the right direction as well. But, I preached to them in practice, those DBs. It's one thing to pick it off, but let's try to get in the box. And you saw them do that this past week. I think we had 6 interceptions in one practice last week. So it's a direct correlation. However you play is how you going, how you practice, how you going to play.
How much of it doesn't even necessarily result in points, but how much of the turnover kind of ignite the whole team, kind of get everybody juiced up when it happens?
But I think, the offensive unit feeds off the defense. And first and foremost, we always preach about field position and field position. So, we can automatically flip the field with those turnovers. And, I think it does light a fire in everybody.
Is it a thing that can kind of become contagious not only throughout a game, but like throughout the year? I know you just said it had 6 interceptions in practice last week. Is it one of those things that can become a snowball effect and you just kind of see it throughout the year?
Well, now those guys are competing. And, a couple of them are coming to me talking about, yeah, Coach, y'all had the best secondary in the nation back in '96. We shooting for y'all's records. And I hope they break our records. And I hope they are better than, have more success than I had in my secondary when I was here. They're going to have some work to do, though.
Have you told them, have you gone over the numbers and tell them what they have to shoot for to be as good as you guys were?
I don't really talk to them about my experiences too much. It's about them and their experiences here at North Carolina Central, and I don't talk about my stats and, what I did as a player. I told them that we had a great secondary, and we were a very close-knit group and things of that nature. But as far as exact numbers, I tell them at every position they need to do their homework and, see who, came before you. And, if I want to be the best DB to come through here, I need to see what Robert Massey did and Wallace and everybody else, all those guys that came before us, Lewis Breed and everybody else. So same thing with running backs. So they need to know who came before them and what records they're chasing.
What makes a good ball hawk, or what makes a good player who has a nose for being around the football when it's loose? Is it something you can teach, or is it natural with those guys over there?
First of all, it's about being in position. And if I'm reading my keys, that's going to help me work my way into position to be around the football. And then from there, it's about seizing opportunity, seizing the moment. And, we work those drills all the time, whether it's we stripping or punching the ball out, tip ball drills and things of that nature. And, little things that you see on film, like we had a defensive lineman recover the fumble. And we talk about getting in the fetal position, how to recover the fumble. And when you see little things like that on film that nobody else probably pays attention to, you can see that they're taking the coaching. But it is a technique, it is art to it, and you have to have ball skills. And as a defensive back, when the ball's in the air, as far as judging it and timing it up and high pointing the football, things like that. Some of it is God-given ability.
Coach, can we get a preview on Morgan State, your opening conference game? They're still looking for their first win, from what I just read, I believe. What is it, though, that you guys cannot underestimate about them when it comes to them having an offer in the win column?
Well, I think anybody that watches the film will not underestimate these people. They played James Madison. They played Army. I think Army lost to Michigan by 3 points. So, they had a tough schedule like we did. But I think defensively, they're very good defensively. Defensive line, they have two great pass rushers. I think two linebackers they have are number one in the conference, number 3 in the conference in tackles. And then they have a safety, number 4. He's very rangy and very physical. So our offense is going to have their hands full this week, and we have to do a great job of game planning, putting our young men in position to be successful. But defensively, they're pretty stout.
Because it's such a young team, who do you lean on? Who are some of the guys you kind of go to like this? I need you kind of spread the word and kind of let the guys know that conference play is a different animal in the MIAC.
I'll do that. But we do have some seniors, very few, that understand what's going on and how close the games have been every time we play Morgan. I think usually it's a one-possession game. And but I think it's my responsibility to make sure our guys understand exactly what's going on and what we're playing for right now. And I'm sure we'll have some of the leaders will step up and preach the same thing I'm saying.
Did you miss the MIAC while you were gone? Is something different about the MIAC than any other conference, or something about it you couldn't wait to get back to being around a different style of play?
Shorter trips. That's SWAC, man. You in Alabama and Texas and all over the world, and they play night games in the SWAC. I hate playing night games. You sit in a hotel all day long and watch everybody else play, and then all of a sudden you have a, night game. Like, this weekend in Morgan, you play at 6 o'clock, the game will be over at 9. By the time you shower up and hit the road, it'll probably be 4 or 5 o'clock when you get home. And I don't think that's safe for the fans, they're traveling up there following us, and, but I don't make the schedule or timing. We just show up and play.
But actually on the field, is there a different style in the MIAC than it is in the SWAC or any other conferences that you've been dying to get back to? Well,
there's been so much change and turnover with the coaching. So, it's a different type brand of ball than it was the first time I was here. They're throwing it around a little bit more now. And, the SWAC changed a lot. When I first got there, they were throwing it around every play. And then they started, running the football more. So now that we have Coach Simmons that's at FAM, he came from the SWAC, and, a bunch of different coaches in his league. So it's not the same conference I was, accustomed to.
Well, through the eye testing, if you saw it on film a couple days later?
Well, he's got a long way to go. And, I thought he played well and took some steps in the right direction. But it's a lot of things we have to work on and that he needs to improve with. But I thought he did an outstanding job of extending plays and keeping his eyes downfield and, finding open receivers. And, he's poised. That's one big thing about it. He's not going to get rattled. And I love his leadership qualities, and he's an outstanding young man. I can't say that enough. But, he still has a lot to improve on.
Talking about watching tape, was there anything else that stood out to you that you liked, that you didn't necessarily see on Saturday, but that you noticed on tape?
I thought our defense, I thought their run fits were much better. I thought we were playing better. Whenever you hold somebody to less than 100 yards total offense, and I think they had 23 yards rushing, that's a positive. That's a positive. And I thought offense we did a better job in certain situations. We preached last week about red zone and also 2-minute, and I thought we executed the 2-minute drill well at the end of the half. And we did a little bit better on third down, but run game definitely improved on offense. And again, as that goes, it'll help to take some pressure off of Pee Wee.
We have Deonta Fair coming up today. Talk to us about Deonta Fair and his impact on the program.
Well, another guy that didn't play a whole lot last year, and when I came in, he has a very outgoing personality, and I think he's made strides on the field as far as improving his game, but more so than that, I've seen so much growth in him as a person and as a student, aside from just being an athlete. And he's taken over a leadership role of the defense, and I'm really excited to where he's going, and I'm proud of the steps he's made both on and off the field.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Oh, well, I felt like we had a great game. I felt like we was physical. We got off the field when we were supposed to get off the field. We executed in the things that we needed to do, the things that we game planned in practice. On film. I just felt like we played our part as a defense as a whole. We got to the quarterback. We got our hands on the ball, and we scored on defense. That was a big part for us this week, scoring on defense, and that was it.
What's been the biggest key to 7 turnovers? 13 turnovers.
I
through
mean,
3 games.
I feel like our coaching staff, Coach Lindsey and Coach E. Edwards, they feel like during camp they installed that in us, like takeaways. We had this thing going on in camp, who can get the most takeaways, forced fumbles, interception, whatever it is to get your face on the board. You did it, and I feel like at the beginning when they was installing that, it helped us coming into the season as far as getting our hands on the ball. So every game we set goals, whether we want 2 picks, 2 forced fumbles, a score on defense. Last week it was a score on defense, 1 interception, and we did that.
What do you mean face on the board? You said get your face on the board.
Oh, yeah, you get your face on the board. There's a big board in the walker downstairs, and it had everybody's face on there. Every time you make a play, a big play.
Little incentives like that, they go a long way, I imagine.
A long way, a long way.
Does it make you guys a bit more competitive?
Yes, we very competitive, especially on the back end. I try to keep our guys. We only as strong as our weakest link. So even the red shirt freshmen, when we go on scout team, we add all those up. When those guys down there taking picks, when they down there jumping routes and all that, they get love for that also. There's no man left behind. That's how we feel. So every day we count our takeaways. When we say takeaways, we speaking on forced fumbles, who's racking at the ball, who's trying to get it out, who's hustling to the ball, equal effort, things like that. And I just feel like we do a great job as practicing that, and all of that translates to the field to where you're not behind the 8 ball, you're just ready to go.
Have you seen, dating back to camp and up to even now, everybody's gotten a little bit more competitive, a little more into it?
Yes, everybody want to make a play. And I feel like just yesterday, Sunday practice, Coach Lindsey was like, man, we all won. I'm like, yeah, Coach, we all won, but we still going to compete. Everybody want to make the big play.
What was your thought when you saw whether it was Instagram, Twitter, whatever, about being number 1 in the nation in takeaways?
Oh, man, it felt good, It felt good to be number 1 in the nation, something to talk about after you put all that work in over camp. All the weightlifting, just the little stuff like treatment, everything, it just feels good, It makes you want to do better, do more. Like I told the guys after our meeting on Sunday, I say, now that we number 1, we got to stay there. We got to push harder. And that just comes from being more physical. And also I want us to put it on film, like when these people see we number one, when they turn on the film, I want them to say, yeah, they number one for a reason.
How do you keep it going now? How do you stay number one?
Don't change the plan. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I guess that's what you can say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
What was the feeling like? We always, love to try to get that, like Coach Oliver said, the ball in the box.
Mm-hmm.
So when you saw Jerome taking it into the house, what was going through your mind?
Oh, man, I told him I was coming to get one, too. That's the first thing I told him, man. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I dropped one. I could have took it in the end zone, but that's just how our defense is. One person do something, the next man say, I'm coming right behind you. It's kind of like he kicked the door down, and we all just following suit. That's it. And that's my brother. I was happy for him that he made that play.
Was it an easy transition for you to become like a more vocal, more leader, bigger leader this year? Because last year you had guys like Reynolds and Taylor had been for a long time. Guys who had been here for a while played a lot, and then they're gone, so it's kind of like the spotlight was on you. Was it an easy transition for you?
It wasn't easy. At first, my first step was letting my play do the talking before I even step into it as far as like talking towards guys. We got a lot of young guys, so I was letting them see that I can be a leader on the field first as far as my plan, and then I started to, take action as in bringing them under my wing, as in like, okay, you see I can do this now, let me show you how I'm doing this, or let me show you how you can get better, and that's just how I've been going as far as my leadership. Like, I lead from the back end first, so my DB core, I start there, and then it trickled down to the defense and then the whole team. I never want to step on any toes. As far as like the offense, I don't say too much to the offense. I stay on my side of the ball. I let Day and all those guys, lead on their side, and that's what I do. I just try to be a team player. That's it.
What have you seen? I don't know how much. What's today? Tuesday. How much film you've watched on Morgan State? What have you seen from them so far?
They're a great team. They're a good team. We definitely gotta stick to what we do and execute. They have a good receiver, number 13. I'm not sure what his name is, but yeah, they have him over there. And we just gonna get the keys that our coaches give us that they've been doing good with. That's why we got 6 or 7 takeaways, and we just gonna execute whatever they give us.
Will you be one of those guys, as an older guy, who kind of talk to everybody and tell them, like, hey, it's MEAC conference play time now. It's time
yeah, we already made that. We already had that talk, that discussion. Like, this got to snowball. After that win, we got to keep bringing them in. We don't got no room for error. No room at all for error. We want to go to the big show, and we know what we got to do to get there.
I always like asking guys this who are from out of state, and I see went to a different university before they came here. How'd you end up here at Central?
I ended up at Central because I just wanted a different environment from my old school, I'll say. It wasn't no bad blood or nothing like that. It was good. I was far from home. I was in New Jersey, very far from home. First time seeing cold was one of the big reasons why. First time seeing snow, one of the big reasons why I went up there. I decommitted from FAU to go there. So it just didn't feel too much like home up there. So I just wanted to get away. I said I wanted to transfer. Coach McCoy was recruiting me in high school, so I hit him up. And one thing led to another. Then I came here, and it's been great.
Wait, you went there because you saw snow?
Yeah, I wanted to see snow, man. I'm a real Florida boy, so it just was different, man. I told my mother I wanted to see snow. I was tired of being in Florida, close to home. Just wanted to get away.
You and I were talking about this before the camera started rolling, but you said you went to American Heritage. I always like talking to Florida players because I just know there's so much talent down there. But what was it like growing up and playing football down there, and then you see guys you play with, like we just naming names back and forth, who were just go all over the place? Yeah,
I mean, it makes you a good football player. Every week you're going against somebody good, somebody top in the nation, this person, that person, every week. And the strange thing about it is that it's the guys that's not ranked in the nation that be good. It's be the guys that's not ESPN 300, that be the fastest, best route runner. And, it's always a diamond in the rough down there just because it's so much talent in Florida. I wouldn't want to be raised in no other place but Florida to play football. It's the greatest state, Sunshine State, and the best athletes come from there.
Coach Oliver said that he's seen you grow both on and off the field. Have you noticed that in yourself?
Yes, and he plays a big part in that as well, you know, teaching me how to be a man. Not just him, all our coaches. You know, I really think this is a great coaching staff as far as building a kid's character. They do a great job at that because they want to build that first, and then they know off their recruitment what the kid can do on the field. So they just try to make you be the best you, I guess, that you can be. And like, he just been giving me little nuggets, him and Coach E, throughout camp, throughout the whole season, really. And that just helped me more become a leader, I could say. Like, it's just them staying on top of me, telling me how much I improved, you know. And it's just been all good for me.
Can you think of in a specific way that you've maybe grown and how you've grown off the field?
I'll say on the field or off the field? Off the field. I'll say I'm more of a team guy now off the field. Before I was more to myself. Like, when we scrap up, we all brothers, and I get off the field and I be to myself, go to my room, get on the game, play the game, stuff like that. But now I'm more with my teammates, and it's not just the back end. I might be with our kicker, with our punter, long snapper, like different guys that I never really interacted with throughout the season or years ago, my younger self.
Talk about how your transition from high school to college.
That's great. My transition from high school to college, I mean, me coming from American Heritage, I feel like I had a step ahead of most people, because that's like, I was coached by NFL, Pro Bowlers, and all that. So our practice was a little bit different. We was kind of like a college type practice. So when I came into college, I knew I was going to start as a true freshman. And I said that. I knew I was going to start as a true freshman. I said that, and that's just something I just wanted to do. And I just worked, really just work. It really wasn't no transition to me, honestly. Like, the game speed wasn't really that faster. Off the field was school. It's different from high school, from college. Like, I was on my own. My mom's not waking me up, not telling me I got to go to school. I got to do all that on my own. But as far as football aspect, it was no fall off, no drop off. I jumped right into it. I was gelling good.
Is there anything else that we didn't ask you that people should know about Deonta Fair?
I mean, my story gonna tell itself, man. I'm just gonna keep making plays and do what I gotta do. That's about it.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.